I got 163 ranks in Civil Service 2017 exam. I am from Gorakhpur. I did my graduation from IIT Delhi in Mechanical Engineering, and it was also my optional. So I will start from the prelims, and first I will tell you the basic books which I have followed and how I have prepared. And then if you have some doubts, you can ask me and I will answer those accordingly. So in the prelims, first one is the GS paper 1. So in the history, I have read spectrum for modern India. For ancient and medieval, I have studied NCERT. And for art and culture, it was NCERT art and architecture book. It is class 12th book. And there is another book from nitty. So I have followed that book as well. There is a book from CCRT. You can follow that book as well. You can pick any one book. You don't need to do all these books for art and culture. Second is polity. For polity, I have done Lakshmikant, and also NCERT book is also there for the basic governance section. Then for economics, I have read mostly from the internet by searching the terms and looking at various videos which are available on the YouTube. Then for environment, there is one book from Shankar IAS, and apart from that, you have to search some of the terms on the internet to get the understanding of all the things. Then in the geography, you have to do NCERT, class 11th and class 12th, and this is the most important book which you are going to follow in your preparation. And the second part of the geography is the map work. Do mapping of India and Southeast Asia and Middle East very thoroughly because the questions are regularly asked from those sections. For the mains exams, in the prelims, current affair is also very important, and for that please read at least one newspaper regularly. You can choose either the Hindu or Indian Express, or you can follow your institute current affair magazines. It will make your work easy, but still please don't leave reading newspaper. It will help you in mains exam or as well as in interview also. Then in the prelims, join any one test series and do that test series thoroughly. You don't have to join all the test series which are available in the market, but I will suggest that at least do one test series, but do it thoroughly, give all the test papers on time, and then analyze your mistakes. What are the mistakes which you are making? Research paper, though it is qualifying in nature, but I have seen that many students are not able to clear the cutoff of the CSET. Though it is very less, but please don't ignore it. Especially if you are not from science or engineering background, then please solve some papers and do some question answers before going to the exams. This will cover your prelims. In the mains, in the paper 1 is completely static. In the paper 1 for the history section, do spectrum for modern India. For world history, you can read any of the basic history book. If you can find old NCERT, history NCERT, that is a good source of world history. For geography, you can do NCERT. For society, in paper 1, it will be covered mostly from the newspaper. If you are reading newspaper thoroughly and making your notes, then it will get covered. Then GS2, GS3. In GS2 and GS3, there is one static portion and one dynamic portion. For a static portion, what you have to do is take the syllabus and look at the terms which are mentioned in the syllabus and search each and every topic on the internet and make a very exhaustive notes. Then when you are reading the newspaper and whatever the news items which are coming in the newspaper, connect those news items with the static portions which you have already prepared, and then do this study in an integrated manner. In GS paper 4 is very important, but this is one of the few paper in which you have to study very less. But don't ignore it completely. In GS4, the most important thing is how you write the answers. In the answers, you don't have to put a lot of technical jargons in the papers. You have to simply write what is being asked and try to put some example, especially from your own life or from life of some famous personalities. This will cover the GS paper 4. So if you have to ask anything in particular, you can ask me. I will be happy to clear your doubts. In the interview, before you write your mains examination, you have to fill a DAF, detail application form. They will ask a lot of detail from you. So when you clear the mains exams, or at that time, first what you do is you take your DAF, and whatever you have written in that DAF, you have to prepare those topics thoroughly, because around 60 to 70% of your interview is going to be based on that DAF. In my case, it was almost 100% of the questions which has been asked from my DAF only. Then you have to prepare for the current affair. For the preparation of current affair, now you have to follow 2 or 3 newspapers, out of which at least one newspaper should be a local newspaper, so that you can get the knowledge about your hometown and home state. In?
Ethics paper.
What?
Ethics.
Ethics.
Microphone. Ethics paper, sir.
I have.
Ethics
paper 4. Microphone.
Ethics paper.
Okay.
Microphone.
I have said what is.
It's like ethics paper.
Okay. For the ethics paper, as I have already said, you don't have to study a lot, but you have to do a little bit of smart study. You don't have to put a lot of jargons in the exam. Do answer writing practice. Make a proper strategy how you have to write the answers. In that, you write in a point form and try to include examples. Examples from your life or from life of a personality. And for example, if there are topics mentions like honesty, integrity. So you have to know what is the difference between honesty and integrity, and then you have to know the example to show how honesty and integrity are different from each other. For that, you can take example from life of a personalities, from Gandhiji, from Subhash Chandra Bose, or from Mother Teresa, or from any other personality, or you can give example from your personal life as well. For example, that you can write a simple example like in the past I have faced such incident, but I have did this which showed honesty. And second example is that in this situation I have done this which showed integrity. So it will show that you know the clear distinction between different terms.
अरे एखाने नहीं है.
Sir, for the current affairs, how many years should we cover?
Sorry?
For the current affairs, how many years should we cover?
Last 1 year is very important, but try to cover last 2 years. Suppose, for example, 80% should be from the immediate last 1 year, and 20% from last 2 years. But follow the paper of last 1 year only.
Okay.
So, how to practice answer writing, means where to start from and how to evaluate the written answers. Means we can understand that the practice is going right or wrong.
For answer writing, if you are starting your preparation right now, then there will be a problem. So first you have to accept this, that initially you will not be able to write a very good answer, and you will not be able to complete your answer in a required time frame. So don't get demotivated by this. Second, there are many websites on the internet where they give daily questions for your practice. So what you do is that you first read your newspaper. It will take around 1 or 1.5 hours. If you want to make notes, then do that. Then open that websites like Insights on India or IAS or anyone. It doesn't matter from where you are writing. then pick that question and then start writing. So in that, don't think that you have to write a good answers. Try to write that answer in 7 or 8 minutes. This is more important. First try to increase your speed, then increase your quality. Because given a time, any can answer a very good answer. For example, it's very easy to write an answer in 20 minutes. But the actual challenge is to write a good answer in 7 or 8 minutes. So first try to increase your speed, then start increasing your quality.
Thank you, sir.
सामने दो. Wait, please.
Sir, actually, I have two questions. The first one is that for the paper A and paper B, in the mains, paper A and paper B, it is in English and one is the regional language. Sir, one can opt English for the either paper A and paper B both, or they have to use the...
No.
They have to use the alternative.
Yes.
Okay. Sir, second question is there compulsion to write the ornamental words in the mains?
Which words?
Ornamental words, any type of...
You don't have to write a very fancy answer. You have to write a logical answers which is correct. In fact, my English is not very good, and I used to write a very simple sentence. Try to write short sentences, simple sentence. It's just that your answer should be logical and it should address what is being asked in the questions.
Is there any word limit regarding that, sir, or we can write to the point? And
no, there is word limit, and it will depend on the how much marks that question worth, and it is mentioned in the answer booklet. So try to maintain that word limit, because what will happen is that if you exceed that word limit, you will not be able to finish your paper. Second, if you write too much, then the examiner may get irritated and award you less marks. We don't know. So try to maintain that word limit.
thank you, sir.
I want to know that for WCS we have to study about, for WCS we are studying for geography, the Indian geography and the West Bengal geography. For IAS we have to study about the world geography, and how much more we have to give effort to this subject.
For the Indian and world geography, I think you were asking about the mapping parts.
Yeah.
So in the mapping part, Indian geography is very important, because every year they ask questions regarding tributaries and mountain ranges in the prelims, so you have to do that. Apart from that, they ask questions about world geography as well. Now you cannot cover each and everything. Try to first do the basic thing, and then increase your focus on immediate neighbor of India, Southeast Asia, Middle East, Northern African region. Because in the last few years, questions from world geography mapping has been from these regions only.
And sir, I want to know that in economics, we usually used to read the current affairs like economics and the basic knowledge of economics. Then should we know about the economic terminology of other countries in the world which are in headlines and we have to know properly, or just we have to read in our nation?
No, try to limit yourself from the Indian economy part only, because you cannot do each and everything. You have to study subject as well. See, in this exam, the most important thing is how you manage your time. Because there are 7 or 9 papers in the mains exam. In the prelims also, the syllabus is unlimited. It is being said that the syllabus of UPSC is everything under the sun, including the sun. So you cannot read each and everything in very detail. You have a very wide knowledge and some depth knowledge in some of the topics.
And about the history, we should know properly the world history, or just class it and we should properly know about Indian history?
From Indian history, the question which are being asked is relatively more. For example, if they ask around 7 or 8 questions from history portion in GS1, then most probably 4 or 5 questions will be from modern India, including art and culture, and 2 to 3 questions will be from world history. But the question from world history will be very straightforward and it is very scoring. So try to read according to the syllabus and don't spread yourself too much, because If you start reading everything in the world history, it will take 2-3 months, more than 2-3 months. So first read the basic thing, and then once you start writing answer, you will be able to write answer even if you don't know a lot about that topic.
Thank you.
बोलो हाँ बोलो which one? Food sources. The Hindu, Indian Express, or any one magazine, any magazine.
Ma'am.
Okay. For current affair, read newspaper regularly. You don't have to skip this. Then I will suggest that make topical notes. You don't have to you don't have to make notes daily. You pick one topic, what is being in the issue. For example, if GST is coming in the newspaper regularly, then make exhaustive notes on GST, so that it will cover the prelims portion as well as mains portion as well. Whether it will come in the essay paper or GS2 or GS3, you will be able to write answer from your notes.
Sir, thank you so much, sir. I think we can save a few questions. We have other guests also. Thank you so much, sir. I would like now